What if people are living on the edge of this lake here? Does that mean that they're polluting the lake also?
What if it's not people who are causing the pollution?
Then what is it?
Well, what if the water is contaminated and you can't do nothing?
Can't you drain it? You can drain the...
Well, if you drained it, all the animals would die.
Well, they can just get more. Wherever they get their
Well,
trout
what
from,
if you can't find those animals anywhere else? What if that was the only place their animals were?
Well,
So we couldn't just drain it.
no. We'd have to clean it out somehow with irrigation
Filter the
pumps.
water.
Filter the water. Exactly.
But what if that's cost prohibitive?
Yes, what if? How many discoveries, how many scientific breakthroughs began with these same simple words? What if?
Yeah.
What if you could place a motor on a winged glider? What if you could map the very building blocks of life? What if you could ride a photon across the universe? Science is the chronicle of our own curiosity, our speculations and wonder about the world, about the universe, about ourselves. What we have learned through science has not only changed the way we look at things, but the way we live as well. But how well have we prepared our young students for a world increasingly shaped by science and technology? How well have we been able to kindle and nurture their curiosity about the world around them? The inquiry has led those concerned to initiate a reform of science and technology education in our schools. Documents like California's new science framework and Project 2061 from the American Association for the Advancement of Science are pointing the way.
All right, let's go ahead and get to your computers.
Now what's changing about our world is how we teach science, and with it, the way we deliver science instruction. What if you had a science resource tool that used proven technology and reflected the latest reform standards to spark the curiosity of your students?
Yeah. This is even here, that'd be pretty steep. No, I'm just saying it.
I think the reform movement has clearly brought more pressure upon those of us in education to do a better job and to be more accountable with what students are learning. And in turn, that movement has put pressure on the publishers to give educators better materials to teach with. I think through the use of technology, we can do a much better job in the area of science. And so we're taking advantage of those opportunities to get students more involved and more interested in science programs. You couldn't have changed science curriculum without the use of technology.
We know that science is dynamic by nature, changing and expanding. It's too much for a single resource, which is why teachers supplement with films and videos, hands-on activities, pictures, charts, and diagrams. But what if you had a resource tool that combined all of these into one easily accessed package? What if it contained an entire year's science curriculum, but still allowed you to tailor material to suit you and your students?
I really evaluate my curriculum putting myself in the place of a 12-year-old. And I look at a sheet, or I look at a book, or I look at a Laserdisc, or a software program, and I decide, how long is this going to keep my attention? If I had this at home and MTV was on, which would I watch? And which would I be more interested in? So I really try and be very critical about the software and the instructional materials that I'm going to adopt into my classroom from their standpoint, because they are the end users and they're the ones that it's got to be important to. They won't do it for me, they won't do it for grades, they won't do it for parents. I think kids will learn stuff because they want to. And when kids don't come tardy to my class and they don't leave when the bell rings to go to recess, that shows me that something's working right.
This is Streamtable. It's going to help us learn something about erosion. Here's what we know so far. We can turn this valve and speed up the flow of water or slow it down just by how much air is allowed in the top. We can put sand...
We know that science isn't just a specialized vocabulary or memorized procedures or biographies of famous men. Science is about ideas, about thinking skills, about investigating, about seeing connections and asking, what if? And then finding out.
Look, it's popping up. Did you notice that? Right here in the middle. It's not puffing up, it's that these are going away, so it looks like...
What if you had a science resource tool that was interactive and dynamic, just like science itself? What if it incorporated rich, exciting images, motion sequences, and graphics from the National Geographic Society, NASA, and others? What if learning science became a hands-on, minds-on investigation of real problems and issues that matter to students?
And we still have to figure out a way to get the people to stop.
What if curiosity, enthusiasm, and fascination were restored to the enterprise of learning science? What if you had Science 2000? Science 2000 is unlike any other science curriculum or set of science materials. It is a complete multimedia curriculum for teaching 7th grade science. Using the power of the computer and supporting technology, it delivers interactive model lesson plans, assessments, experiments and simulations, photos and motion sequences, glossaries, biographies, and a host of other tools so that students can actively explore the realms of science. But Science 2000 is much more than the latest in educational technology and delivery systems. It reflects the latest in thinking by science educators about science instruction.
This is much closer to teaching science, as it is science, than what you would find in a traditional curriculum. Scientists don't sit down and read textbooks about generalized facts over a period of time. They go in, they have an investigation, they make a hypothesis of what they expect. From that hypothesis, they do investigations. From that investigations, they come to conclusions. That's what we're doing in a project-based, technology-based science.
Consistent with various state science frameworks and the Project 2061 report, Science 2000 employs a thematic approach and constructivist pedagogy. Interweaving themes like systems and interactions, evolution, scale and structure, Science 2000 helps students look at the big picture, to recognize principles and recurring patterns, to foster connections between seemingly unrelated disciplines and discoveries, to unify and give meaning to information.
What if, if a population of rabbits here was used to getting their food source over here, and the freeway goes down the center?
They won't know where to get their food.
Yeah, because every time they try to cross the highway, they're going to be hit.
Yeah.
Okay. I know in some places in California, there's freeways that have cut migration paths.
Created by a consortium of leading businesses and educational institutions, Science 2000 is computer software for both Macintosh and IBM-compatible computers. In addition to the computer diskettes, there are 2 double-sided video discs full of visual material and exciting motion sequences. The discs come with a second Spanish-language audio track, ideal for Spanish-speaking students. Science 2000 comes with 4 sets of engaging manipulatives to stimulate inquiry and reinforce lessons. This is a multimodal, multi-sensory approach no single resource can match.
Science 2000 uses hands-on materials that the kids get involved in, get excited about, and do their own predicting and run their own learning, take charge of their own learning to a great extent, especially in the hands-on.
Science 2000 emphasizes a cooperative group teaching strategy, but it accommodates any number of learner configurations, including individual students and class-wide presentations. A teacher can rely entirely on it for lesson plans and activities the year long, or use it to supplement his or her own instructional strategy. It's the teacher's call, because Science 2000's flexibility and authoring tools allow a teacher to customize the science instruction.
The Science 2000 project allows me a lot of flexibility. It's not a cold, hard, fast, do this, then do this, then do this. It works in the way that I think computer technology has made people think, and that is globally. You can go to different places at different times. I can follow students' questioning much better now and have better resources to answer them. And also just my gut instinct about where I think we should go from here. It's not guided by a textbook anymore. Now it's guided by my own personal learning style with the aid of the Science 2000 project.
Science 2000 runs on equipment commonly found in schools, All it takes is a Macintosh or an IBM Model 25286 or IBM compatible. Couple any of these to a Laserdisc player and a standard TV monitor, and you have the basic Science 2000 workstation. The software is easy to install and fully documented. Plus, there is an 800 number for customer support. The engaging graphic interface has a special appeal for students and invites exploration. The rich, interactive environment of Science 2000 emulates the actual process of science. Lessons are fascinating investigations that require new and heightened skills of students. Student investigations aren't confined to the computer. There are resource files that direct a student and the teacher to books, other visual media, and support materials. Students can even develop their own multimedia presentations using Science 2000.
This is what we can find in Florida Lake. Birds, fish.
No single resource can rival it for depth, diversity, and sheer stimulation of curiosity among students.
Does it say where the mountain lions live?
The mountain lion.
Our students stand on the cusp of a new century, a new millennium. They will enter a working world steeped in technology and shaped by science. Those prepared to embrace the changes they will face will also help mold them. How do we help our young people embrace the unpredictable future?
When kids graduate out of my class, one of the most important things I want them to acquire is an attitude about science. Over and above the vocabulary and the concepts is a perspective on life science and kind of how things run on the planet and about their own role within it, wherein they're active and they're involved in it, where science isn't handed to them and said, here are all these facts you need to know, but instead where they become active in the process of finding out what science is. It's science as a verb instead of just a noun.
Science 2000 can open a whole new world to students, both the world they can see and the world that is hidden from their senses. It can put them in touch with the complexity and beauty of the natural and technological world around them. Look back across time and the history of science, and you will find the great scientists asking the simple and powerful question, what if? Well, the times have changed, the faces have changed, but the question has not.
What if?
What if?
What if?